A new report out of the UK today says the world's wealthiest people are creating more than their fair share of carbon emissions. Tessa Arcilia is on the story from our bureau in London with more on what they're calling, Tessa, a polluter elite. Tell us more.
Indeed, Heather, that is a coined term in the climate space, the polluter elite, referring to the world's wealthiest 5%, essentially being called by this report as being at the heart of the climate problem and therefore the key to the solution as well. So this report from the UK-based Cambridge Sustainability Commission on Scaling Behavior Change, they want radical change in the lifestyle behaviors of the world's wealthiest. Now, just to show you how big of a gap it is, the kind of emissions that the rich produce. The report highlights that the world's wealthiest 1% produce double the combined carbon emissions of the poorest 50%. And Heather, if they want to be in accordance with the Paris Agreement, they will have to scale down their consumption by a factor of 30. Now, that is such a massive difference between the world's poorest and the richest. And I spoke to the lead researcher, the lead author of that study today, and he told me, look, this is not just unfair for the rest of us, it is also distasteful. Take a listen to this.
So people who fly all the time or have large cars or multiple houses, etc., are way exceeding their use of the carbon budget, their entitlement, if you like. And that's, in a way, is an antisocial behaviour. And it's not fair on others that people get away with that. So I think we do need to deal with that. In a way, though, it's not just about pressuring individuals to do things differently. It's about creating infrastructures to do things differently.
So he's saying that policy change and behavior change will have to go hand in hand. And some of the policy changes he was suggesting would be like frequent flyer levies, for example, or banning the sale of big SUV cars where it's not necessary, or encouraging the support of electric public transport. Now, some of them seem intrusive, but he said, look, this is really necessary. We have to throw everything we've got into the climate change effort right now, and basically emphasizing that with great wealth, Heather, comes great responsibility.
News out of France to this point, Tessa. The French government reportedly potentially putting limits on short-haul flights. Tell us more about that.
Exactly. So this is an example of where a legal change or policy change could potentially influence behavior. That is exactly the end that they want to achieve. So the French members of parliament had voted, well, after a lot of argument, to ban domestic flights that could be done with the same journey under 2.5 hours by train. Some climate groups are saying, you know, the train produces 77% less CO2 than a plane would, and therefore they want to encourage this. So this is a discussion happening in France. It is such a divisive topic, but for now it has passed in the lower house, and it will have to have Senate vote and Senate approval for this. So again, an example of them trying to move forward with that Paris Agreement. Emmanuel Macron trying to be at the forefront of changing behavior on a massive scale there, Heather.
Okay, Tessa, very interesting. Thank you very much. Tessa Arcilia in London.